We have today the CEO of the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, LSETF. You see them interact and engage and give hope to Nigerian businesses and business owners. The CEO is here with us in the studio live this morning. Her name is Feyisayo Alayode. We say good morning. Welcome to the studio.
Good morning, Oluwakayode and the team at Lagos Talks and the whole of Lagos. Thank you for having me.
Great. And thank you for joining us today. And happy International Women's Month and Week to you.
Thank you for acknowledging and recognizing the special month of the year.
Yes, that's it. Although we're a bit jealous, not a bit, we're a lot jealous that you have more than one celebration, but
well, women, we deserve it in many folds.
Well, it is, but at least for us, maybe that's not your fault. Maybe we men haven't spoken up enough. The only International Men's Day, we share it the same day with the World Toilet Day.
Oh Lord, I didn't know that.
No, that's the
I didn't know that. I'm going to research that.
That's the sad truth about everything.
Oh,
but
wow.
Yeah, but welcome to the studio, and it's good to have you with us today.
Yes.
On a normal day, we're used to holding government officials to account, but today is just celebrating the good work you do and your position as the CEO of the LSETF. Now, tell us a bit about this. How does it feel sitting at the top of the company, the organization?
I must confess, it feels great, but it comes with a lot of responsibility. It's a year and 2 months in at LSETF, and it's been a learning experience. It's been a rewarding experience. And I must confess, I wouldn't have been able to even do half or even 3/4 of what I do without my able team, more than able team, passionate team, and my stakeholders. So yes, I'm at the top. They call me 001, but honestly, I am only at the top because everyone is able to carry me, along the way. But yes, it has been rewarding, a very good learning experience for me, and I'm still growing every day. But I think the bigger question to answer is the amount of impact that I've been able to create. And that's what helps me get up every morning to be a woman, to be a mother, to be a leader in my space who is still learning every day and willing to create more impact. So, yes.
Right. So leading the team, before we get to know you better, leading the team now, what is the should I say the portfolio you sit on? How many businesses would you say you impact every single year?
So I would say from inception, we've supported about 200 odd businesses.
200?
200,000.
Okay.
200,000, sorry.
Yeah,
200,000 businesses.
Okay.
And that number just keeps growing because, as I'm sure you appreciate, impact comes in different forms. So we have 4 or 5 core programs that we use to create that impact by providing access to capital, access to infrastructure, access to capacity building, access to mentorship. So all of that, add to those numbers, and those numbers keep growing. So, all right. Yeah.
Okay, so now let's come to you. And we hear of the name Feyisayo Alayode. And one thing I must confess we don't do enough of in Nigeria is that we don't highlight the CEOs. If you ask, what's this guy's name? Google, is this Sergey or what's his name? And other CEOs from Microsoft to Google to the Alphabet Group and all that. An average Nigerian business owner will be able to tell you a lot about their beginnings, their challenges, where the errors, they sold their company. Everybody talks about Bill Gates sold this company, it was sent out. But when it comes to Nigeria, we don't hear a lot about our CEOs. We only see them, whether their credibility, their capacity, we don't know. So today, let's do a bit about you. That woman that approves and disapproves.
Hopefully more approvals.
Well, hopefully more approvals, right? So tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay, so yes, my name is Feyisayo Alayode. I am married with 2 girls.
Okay.
Shout out to my husband, Mr. Alayode. He's currently doing the school run because I had to be here at 7:20. Right. He makes me thrive, and I'm so thankful for him. But yes, Feyisayo Alayode in a nutshell, she's an empathetic leader, somebody who likes to solve problems, and somebody who just likes to help and be in a position of helping people. I started out my career in investment banking in the UK, and then came back into Nigeria about 9-10 years ago. Started working for FBN Capital, still working in the investment space, and then a bit of change management and business transformation. And after that, I realized I wanted to do a bit more. So development became a natural move to say, if you're in the heart of Lagos, what can you do to make that difference? So development work, I started with Leseho, a microfinance bank. And then shortly after that, I got the call last year to say, why don't you come and do something for Lagos? All the work you're doing on the private side, come and do it in the public side. And I'm thankful I took up that mantle. I'm thankful for the opportunity from Governor Sanwo-Olu. He gave me that opportunity, and I'm glad that I'm able to deliver with my able team. So in a nutshell, I'm somebody that likes to solve problems. I'm somebody that likes to learn new things. I do like to talk a lot, so bear in mind that I can't talk for days. But I channel that energy positively, just in terms of encouraging people and letting people know it's important to speak up. It's important to speak out. It's important to make that difference in any area you find yourself. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell. I do like to explore new cuisines. I'm a foodie, so I like eating. Right. I like tasting new things. I love shopping. So my beneficiaries who know me, whenever we go to, a trade fair, I'm the one there saying, how did you do this? How did you do that? So yeah, give me that. Let me buy it, and that's just me naturally. But it's also a way for me to connect with, the beneficiaries who we call citizens of LSCTF, because they make a difference and they're part of the thread bone of our organization.
All right, that's great. But you schooled all your life in the UK or partly in Nigeria?
Partly Nigeria. Oh, yes, partly Nigeria.
Were you born here in Nigeria?
I was born in Nigeria. Okay. I'm in Nigeria, through and through, Lagosian.
We know. You know your name is not Kemi, so... Anyway, that's just what it is. But, growing up, tell us a bit about it. Grew up in Lagos, school days...
So I actually grew up in Ibadan.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in Ibadan. My parents are back in Ibadan. Shout out to Mr. and Mrs. Olatunagbeja. Growing up in Ibadan, first of 4 kids, so you can say that part of the leadership qualities probably started from there. I've got 2 sisters and 1 brother. Okay. And, primary school, went to boarding school. I'm still team boarding school. I hope that it hasn't ruined it for other parents. And I think boarding school really shaped me in terms of just being a part of a bigger picture, seeing how you can work together to do things together, even outside school. Sporting activities, learning, living together, gaining independence. So part of my upbringing was very influential in terms of my community and also, spending time with my friends, even beyond the classroom. And even whilst growing up, I was someone that liked to do a lot of work in church. So I was one of those in the teenage ministry who would help out in community development work and things like that. So yes, I had a very healthy upbringing. I'm thankful for it as well. And I always say to my kids, I've got 2 daughters, like, guys, you need to do things outside the home. So I take them for long walks, just show them the community. I make them help out in church. I make them help out their neighbors and just give back in one way or the other. So yes, that's a bit of my upbringing as well.
All right. And growing up in Nigeria, before you went to the UK, growing up in Nigeria and even in the UK, what was your perception or understanding of a female right, or let's say equity or equality back then? Did it show forth that there was a huge gap back then?
Yeah, I would say it definitely showed forth, because in university, for example, when we would be put together in groups to do a piece of work, whether it was a presentation, whether it was a research paper, somehow you'd find that, yes, you might have, 2 women in a group out of like 10 women, a group of 10, and then women are always fighting to be heard. And that thing used to irk me. Towards the tail end of university, we all then became assertive and we're able to speak up for ourselves. But in the early days, it wasn't that way at all. And then it came more apparent when we're applying for internship programs and applying for jobs, and the same job, you find out that for some reason the men were paid more. So I started my career in investment banking, working in Canary Wharf. And I must confess,
even in the UK,
and I must confess, then I didn't think too much about it, because I was just thankful to get a job and get moving in life, because I think I finished university during the whole subprime crisis where there were issues with getting jobs. I don't know if you remember that. I don't want to go into that detail. But then it was very clear that why do we have the same job, the same experience, but you're paid a little bit more? And then when it even came to like paying bonuses, you hear people in my team, I don't think I was affected directly, but you hear people in my team complaining that they're up for a promotion, but they give them, an increment, but the guy ahead of them got the promotion. So I used to see it in little spaces, and then it became bigger when I started working. So yes, it became apparent, but I think over time, at least in the last 6, 7, maybe even 8 years longer, I think women have now been given that opportunity. And even when they've not been given the opportunity, they've been able to stand up to speak for themselves. And we're also now knowing how to encourage other women that are coming up. So these conversations are very are very required for the younger generation coming up, whether it's those in primary school, whether it's those in secondary school, to get them to have a seat at the table. And if the seat is not there, make your own table. You know what I mean? So I think we've now known that in your place of leadership, you have to take feedback from what you've learned in the past, experiences you've had, and then start to channel those to the younger generation and making sure that young leaders start from primary, secondary school to start speaking up for themselves. And I think that gap, whilst it's still there, I think it's shrinking in terms of how women are, perceived, how women are, how women appear in the society. In every role of leadership, in every industry, you see women at the top now. It might not be as many as men, but women are at the top across all sectors: banking, finance, manufacturing, agriculture. I mean, our Commissioner of Agri is a woman, Commissioner Abisola, and she's amazing. We did some project with her last year. She really, really is doing really good work in Lagos State, So we have all sorts of women in different positions of leadership. So yes, it's a work in progress, but I think it's significantly better than what I had seen previously. And
before we get into the job you do as a LSETF, would you say where we are in Nigeria right now, let's narrow it down to Nigeria, not the world, would you say...
Nigeria, not Lagos?
No, yeah, okay.
Okay,
Nigeria,
that's fine.
Yeah, Nigeria could do a bit of Lagos, but let's make it Nigeria. Okay. All right. What do you think we need the most for women? Empowerment or sensitization?
It has to be both, I'm sorry. Because empowerment is the opportunities that are given to women. Sensitization is the awareness of the gap that the women are trying to fill. So it's both. And remember, I don't know if you heard this slogan, he for she. I think it's the best thing that happens to men, because we need to realize that men have a role to play as well. Because these men are sons to women, they're brothers to women, they're fathers to women to be, So it's important that everyone recognizes that everyone has a role to play to help that young lady, and making sure that young lady knows she has a right and a seat at the table. Right. So it's a bit of awareness and a bit of empowerment. They both go hand in hand. And I think at LSETF, we try to do that as much as we can. No woman should be left behind.
That's it. Okay. And what you said, now I remember what one of my guest that I interviewed said. He said that the woman has a major role to play in shaping all this, because after all, the mothers raise the sons, and if you raise the child to know that...
mothers raise the sons and daughters.
And daughters, yeah. But since we're talking about the challenge with the men right now,
yes.
That if a guy turns out to disrespect women, to always look down on women, what education are you giving to that child? So the question is, the modern day parent, mother in this case, do we see any intentionality in sensitizing the child to say it's not a case of your sisters wash the plate, you watch TV?
Yeah.
Do we see any change in that, or are we still making the same mistakes?
Definitely. And I'm going to use my mom as an example, even though she's in a different generation. My mom actually taught my brother to cook. So my brother is based out in Canada. I went visiting him last year, and he made me dinner. It might not be a big deal, but I think it's a big deal because he actually cooks. He cleans. He runs his own household. So if my mom could do that in a generation, why not us? But I think it's definitely changing, because I see the way... I haven't got any sons, but I've got friends who have boys. They treat them exactly the same way they treat their daughters, exactly the same way I treat my daughters. And like you rightly said, tasks and responsibilities in the home now sits with both the sons and the daughters. I think that disparity is no longer as evident as it was before. And I think we're doing better in terms of my generation raising the next generation of sons and daughters to realize that everyone should be equal and equity for all is important.
All right, great. So let's come to your organization. And when it comes to women and the opportunities you give women in your organization, are there particular, should we say, advantages you give to women to probably empower or sensitize? Are there added benefits for women?
So, yes, there are added benefits. And in the past, we've done, we've done some particular loans that we've given to women. in the past that actually enables them to, apply for access to credit. So that's we definitely do in the past. But I was going to highlight one in particular that we did last year, and we're looking to do again this year because it was so successful. And it was our Female Founders Program, where we actually, and this is under our tech initiative, where we actually serve as a conduit between the startup community and their potential investors, so female funders and founders. And last year, we did a call for applications where we said any startup in Nigeria that is run by women should come and apply to be part of our Idea Hub, what we call Ideation, for 8 weeks. Only women. We had 120 applications of amazing women doing good work in Lagos State across edutech, fintech, fashion tech, agri-tech, insurtech, health tech, using AI, amazing tools, all women. And we managed to get only female investors, managed to get female mentors. The entire value chain was women. It was so empowering. And on the day, we're able to identify 3 winners that we could support with potential investors. And it didn't stop there. One of the women got a prize from the Ministry of Science and Technology. Thankful for their support. She was taken abroad to speak on Lagos State, speaking on her business. And all of that was empowering women. And it was just so rewarding. And we're looking to do that this year again. So please, any woman out there that works in the tech space, whatever solution you have and you need that support, please look out for our Female Founder Program that's coming up this month and next month. And one thing I would highlight, this is where our mandate is fulfilled. Whenever we support a woman, and everyone knows this, you literally empower and enable a family. That woman raises a child. So you support a woman, you're enabling the family and enabling your community. Because guess what? The women that won the prize last year and they were successful, we could support, they've gone on to hire more people. They've gone on to hire 8, 10 people. And it just helps to build that cycle. So empower women and empower a community.
I see. And whenever I hear you empower a woman, you empower a community, the question, or you're building a generation, the question I ask is, okay, are we saying men, we don't take our money home?
I like that question. I would not say men don't take their money home. I just think that women are better at managing the finances and some level of responsibility. And to be honest with you, the numbers speak for themselves, right? And I'll just run through the numbers really quickly because my team were kind enough to share some with me. So guess what? Our employability training, right? I know there's some part of LSATF that has to do with capacity building and training. We literally had 58% of our portfolio that we trained last year were women. That means 58% of people that came to us for that additional capacity building were women, right? And so far, we placed about 63% of jobs. The numbers speak for themselves. So that's on the training side, right? Even in our loan beneficiaries, 55% of them account for women. That means that everyone that comes to us that need that support, that need that push, it's more women that come to us, right? To say they need that, so 55%. But guess what? And this is one that's very interesting. I'm sure you're aware that the way the loan cycle works is everybody has to repay the loan within the stipulated time. And you repaying the loan actually helps us to have more access to funds for other people in Lagos State. Last year alone, LSCTF, we collected about 90% of our loans. That means all of the loans we gave out, 90% came back. But guess the numbers again. 57% of those numbers were women. So, Oluwakayode, the numbers speak for themselves. I don't think it's more of men don't take their money home. I think it's a level of responsibility that the society has put on women. But even at that, women are more empathetic. Women understand what their role is in community. And for that reason, they would do better with the funds that are given to them. And we're there to support both men and women. But it's International Women's Week, so let's give the women our flowers. And I need to shout out to my beneficiaries, citizens of LFCTF, women who make our job so rewarding. Thank you for that. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for the support. And thank you for allowing us to do our work. And we look forward to more impact in Lagos State. Shout out to Lagos State women and residents.
All right. In your space, you wake up every morning, and what does an average day look like?
Starting my day at Lagos Talks. I kid.
Interesting.
But yes, an average day, depending on the day of the week. But my Mondays are the busiest days. I start my week kicking off meetings one-on-one with my team, just ensuring that we can shape what the week would look like. So Mondays are typically meetings. and mostly Mondays. But when it gets to Tuesdays, I do a lot of what I call stakeholder engagement. So believe it or not, I'm constantly talking, either at one event or the other, or just meeting with our beneficiaries to understand their pain points, meeting with our volunteer network, meeting with members of my team. So it's a mixed bag, if I'm being honest. But then also in the office, there's also engagements, there's approving loans, there's the actual work, there's strategizing, there's planning. So a typical day could range from starting my day in the office, doing some admin work, taking some online meetings, because part of my role is also to look for partnerships for Lagos State and looking for funders to fund our projects. So I do have a lot of those calls and meetings. And then I have physical engagements where I'm creating awareness about what we do, looking for opportunities to create awareness on what Lagos State is doing, and then providing insights on whatever issues or whatever feedback or impact on policy that's come about of our engagement with our beneficiaries. So a typical day could range from meetings to work to engagement.
So the only thing that is constant in your day is that every day you're busy.
Every day I'm busy.
Because every day is peculiar. There are different things
on different days. Totally. And different weeks. Last week, for example, was a super busy week.
Okay.
I think on one particular day, on Thursday, I had 8 engagements. Wow. I had to delegate 4. So shout out to my A team. I cannot do this without my Passion A team. I was able to delegate 4 of those activities. Okay. So some weeks are very, very peculiar. The last week of February was a challenging one for my team. But we're able to step up to the challenge, and I'm thankful that we're able to deliver on that.
All right. And, I mean, you've grown this much. You've been in banking, investment banking, and now you're shipping lives and, funding businesses. Now, in your career, would you say being a woman has been a disadvantage, an advantage? Do you feel like if you were given the same opportunities as men, maybe you'll have become much more than this? Or do you feel like, okay, well, I actually rose a bit quicker because people felt, okay, let's support her, she's a lady. Yeah.
So that's a very heavy question. The short answer is no. I think I'm where I'm supposed to be. I think I'm where God has called me to be. But the honest truth is there are times where certain things might happen, and I think there's a doubt that comes in that, is it because I'm a woman? And classic probably example was I was at an event, and first of all, I should start. The one thing I hear a lot is, a public servant, what do you know? So sometimes I'm dismissed because I'm a public servant.
Okay.
Then there's another layer. That's the first downside. Another layer, you're a woman. But then when they hear you speak, when they hear me answer a question, they're like, I'm sorry, your name is? I'm like, yes, I'm Feyisayo Alayande. I'm a woman and I'm a public servant. And a proud one at that. But where am I going with this? I don't even look at it. I can't answer that question and say there are shortcomings. No, because I would turn those around for opportunities, to be honest with you. So I don't think being a woman has been a hindrance. If anything, it's been a positive because it allows me to change whatever narrative or whatever picture people might have painted. And then being a woman, naturally, I'm on the empathetic side. I'm someone that is very good at carrying people along. And I feel the pain of people a little bit more. And I think that has helped me in doing true impact work, because you can't do true impact work without feeling the pain of people you're impacting. And I'm not saying men are not doing that, but I'm saying that that's what has helped me in terms of that advantage in being a woman in the impact space or the development space. Yeah.
All right. And being a woman, some women will look back, and we have a lot of bitter women, not bitter at themselves and at life because they
bitter. Bitter. Sorry, I was thinking BETA.
No, bitter. You're too much in that space. So
I know. I was thinking what?
So because some feel like they could have been better, if not that they sacrificed either for the husband or for the wife, or they had to stop school and fend for the family at some point because the mother felt you could do this business and support your brother. He's going to take care of women and children in future. You, a man, will take care of you. We have that. The question here is, what is the biggest price you've had to pay to be where you are today?
Gosh, I'm going to have to really think about that one, but it'll come to me. But I wanted to just say something based on the second comment you raised. I must confess, yes, I have some friends that would say they've had to, sacrifice in one way or the other. And this is where I'm being very honest with you. As a parent, whether you're a mother or a father, you need a strong support network. You can't do it all because you want to be a walking mom, right?
Yeah.
I.e., I want to be there for my team. I want to be there for my family. But you can't be in two places at the same time. Like I said today, shout out to my husband who did drop off. He's my support network. Whatever you require to help you juggle the multiple hats, take it. Whether it is employing a nanny, whether it is having a driver, shout out to my support network, Miss Sarah and Mr. Shino. I can't do these things without them. Whether it's having your mother-in-law, your mother come and help out when you need to be somewhere. But the honest truth is, whatever that support looks like to you, grab the opportunity. And I appreciate that not every woman has had that, which is why I was saying I was answering your question based on other experiences I've had. So if you ask the question a different way, based on other people's stories I've heard, they'll say they wish they didn't have to take time off after having children to stay at home because they didn't have a support network. So honestly, it's God's grace and prayer to say, please look out for that support network because something might have to give and you don't want to sacrifice one for the other. I'm thankful that I haven't had to do that. And that's why even when you talk about what's my one, I don't have that thing to answer that question. Okay. But I'm honestly thankful for my support network that enables me to thrive and flourish, first as a mother, then as a woman, then as a boss lady.
So generally what you're saying is that what the men do, or the opportunities the men have, is that they have a support network. They have a wife that can take care of the home and all that. In the same breath, the women also need that. So you don't need to sacrifice your business.
Yes,
of course, you need to bear the process of 9 months. Nobody can do that for you. But once you're done, you should have a support base that makes that makes it easy for you to also achieve. So you don't need to sacrifice your education, your career. For any of this.
It's my take. But again, please, that's Feyisayo's take. Everyone's road is different. Everyone's journey is different.
But the bottom line is that you can be what you want to be.
You can.
Just structure well.
Yeah.
All right. There's so many things for us to touch on. I don't know if we can, but we have to go. It's time. We have to go. We do have to go. But we'll get you back some other time and engage you and see what how we could maybe focus a lot more on youth, particularly as at Lagos Talks we're planning more of an SME clinic. We realize a lot of people are struggling with business at this time.
Please
people are saying, no, there's an issue there. So we're
we're ready to speak to that. And it doesn't even have to be me. We have a thriving business support network. So my head of business support or one of our volunteer network can come and take that segment. By all means, please send us an invitation.
We will reach out to you.
Yes.
Feyisayo Alayode, CEO of Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. Thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you so much. I do want to highlight one last thing. We launched a project last week with King's Trust International, targeted at youth. We're looking to train and place 2,000 youth in Lagos State. And that's one opportunity that's targeted at youth. So please, youth, plug into that. We're looking forward to having more partners that can work with us to actually create more opportunities for jobs and deliver on our mandates in Lagos State. All right. Thank you for having me. You heard that,
youth, and we'll keep that conversation going. My name is Oluwakayode. It is International Women's Day, and one thing we must highlight is the strength of a woman. Do not change your dial. Lagos Talks 91.3 FM.